Hey guys, welcome back. If you tuned in last week, we talked about how fear, which is a common emotion when we're injured, can continue to drive pain, and how for a lot of us, understanding what's going on with us and helping to reduce fear can be a really important part of moving past injuries. Basically, we're talking about how emotions can affect pain, and the more we understand how pain works and how injury works, especially when it's chronic, the more we understand that we have to consider not just the physical piece, but also the psychological and even the social piece. So fear is one emotion, but there are many emotions that can play into keeping our nervous system sensitive and continuing to generate pain even in the absence of tissue injury. So to make this point, I wanted to share one of my favorite stories, and I have a lot of stories from working with clients over the past number of years, but my favorite story comes from a trip that I took with my family to Japan last summer. And for a little bit of backstory, this is the first time that my kids were away from their mom for an extended period of time. So we take this 3-week trip to Japan, and it's so exciting and there's so much joy that comes out of this trip. The second or third day, we go to an onsen, which is basically like a hot springs up in the mountains. And we have plans to settle in, have some relaxing time, but take a big hike, a couple of big hikes up around this volcano that's right next to the hot springs. And we take this long train trip, we check in, we're about to head out for the hike, we're all dressed up, have our backpacks. We start walking up the trail, and my son, who at the time was 9, has this like massive, terrible hip pain that just comes out of nowhere. He get like so bad that he can almost not walk on his leg. And we're hiking up the trail, and I'm like, "What'd you do, buddy? Did you fall? He was jumping off things all day. Did you like land funny? What happened to your hip?" He's like, "No, I don't know. There's nothing wrong. I don't know what I did. Nothing happened. Nothing happened that was obvious to his hip." So we continue up the trail for a few more minutes, and it's clear that he's not going to be able to go on this, 2-hour hike. So we turn around, we go back to our lodge, and on the way back, the rest of the kids go ahead, and I'm just walking with them, and I said, just as we're walking, just be quiet for a few minutes, and I want you to check in and see what's going on inside of you. How are you feeling inside of you? And we walk for maybe 30 seconds, and he just stops and covers his face on the trail and just starts bawling, like crying, sad, just upset, just tears, crocodile tears coming down his face. So we sit down the trail, and we start talking, and I said, "What is it, buddy? What's going on?" And he said, "I just miss my mom so much." He's in tears, like I miss my mama so much. And this is the start of our trip, right? And he's away from his mom for 3 weeks. And, no surprise, has some homesickness and some big feelings around that, despite the fact that we're in this amazing place and he's overall having a great time. So we get back to our lodge, we have a snack. 15 minutes later, and he understands now how this works, that I explained to him that how our big emotions can sometimes cause us to have bodily pain. 15 minutes later, he gets up, he's like, "I'm ready to go, let's go hike." And literally we go hike for 2 hours, and he has no pain, no sign of anything that he had, 15, 20 minutes earlier. It was unbelievable. So the rest of the trip, he was fine. Of course, we have talks about his big emotions and his homesickness and make sure he's connecting with the people he needs to be connecting with. But it was just an incredible acute onset of severe hip pain where he almost couldn't walk, followed by a complete resolution of that pain within a very short period of time, all because he had this sort of unconscious underlying emotion that he wasn't attending to. So one of my favorite stories. I understand these concepts are pretty abstract, and so I encourage you to reach out, leave comments below the video, take a second to subscribe so we can continue this conversation. I appreciate you all tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time.